Welcome back to the Marketing Madman on Extra 106.3. Nick Constantino and Trip Joe here with Chef Boyan. And Chef, we were talking about fads. So nightshade fruit, I love it. They're just renaming things now and just calling them whatever they want. Talk about some of the fads that you're seeing. I mean, one of the ones that drove me crazy was the word Mediterranean food. Do you know how many countries in the Mediterranean?
There are 22 countries and 500 million people.
It's insanity. And I grew up, I'm Greek Orthodox. So like Greek food is one spigot, and to be honest with you, the least flavorful of the bunch. But even the nuance between Persian food and Lebanese food and Moroccan food, we lump it all into Mediterranean. So that's an example of a stupid fad. Not only did we botch it, but we called it something that is representative of a body of water, and I get it. So talk about some other fads you're seeing and what to look out for.
Well, first I wanted to say just a little bit on the note quickly. What I wanted to say is I also started a program at my church, our Serbian Orthodox church, where we were teaching kids how to raise certain vegetables, right? So we have gardens. So to that point, before I say a few things about fads, my advice is to connect with your kids, to connect with your farmers markets, to connect with how is this raised. So more of that, and more cooking and more shopping yourself or hiring someone to do it for you, and cooking from scratch. But as far as fads, everyone's selling you something. So I think nightshade, that's probably the worst. Oh no, grain-free. Now grains are an issue.
They're the enemy. So it was gluten. So things that were made from things that would never have gluten in the first place. My favorite was Tito's gluten-free vodka. There's no gluten in any liquor. There can't be. So but you know how much money, you know how many Tito's they sold because it was gluten-free because it was a trend at the right time. And gluten turns out
it's always
whole wheat, which is probably the best thing for you.
It's that
I know.
It's that hook.
I know.
It's that hook.
And if it catches, it just goes.
I really hate gluten-free. I have one family that everything is gluten-free, and it's not the gluten, it's the glyphosate. That's the insensitive. Your body is sensitive to the glyphosate, not the gluten.
Yeah, I would also say it's probably some of the 1,000 liters of plastic somehow that we're eating, and they're finding on the other ends of the world plastic where no human beings have been. It's so pervasive. But what else is there? What else is there to look out for? And then let's get to your business, because people have got to find a way to find you.
Well, as far as fads, I mean, I don't know what else is coming, but I think I'm done with all of that. I really don't want to. I don't. Like, the worst is probably vegan, dairy-free, grain-free. Like, what do you want me to cook for you?
What do you say to people who said, was organic a fad? Because if we're talking fads, organic had its real heyday where everything had to be organic. What would you say to people who are just going to say, well, organic's a fad?
No, organic is original. See, that's the problem. We're calling conventional, and organic is organic. We're putting organic on a pedestal, and
we should be what it is anyway.
So fads come and go. That's what they are. Yes. And so what you're really talking about is getting back to natural, what has been what we should have been doing for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yes, that's cooking from scratch with organic ingredients. Yeah. That's the best. I mean, also exercising. You know what I mean? I want to bring the 80s back. Really, I would like to bring the 80s back.
Just not the hair.
Not the hair.
Oh, that's coming anyway.
But everything else, meaning spandex, meaning jogging again, Pilates is up. Yes, but just not going vegan. It's really not good for you, not healthy for you, but tons more vegetables.
Yes. Yeah, let's call it what it is, right? Eating less meat and fish is not going vegan, right? There's ways you can fix your diet and make them adapt vegan. Yes. I do vegan one day a week. You know why I like it? Because it's much harder to cook without meats. So you have to get more entertaining with how you cook, right? Black beans are unbelievably easy to use. Chickpeas, my goodness, they're easy things to use.
But so if everyone's talking about, not everyone, but like today's fad would be vegan, right? So if everyone's talking about vegan, how many vegan restaurants do we actually have?
They don't last long when they do. They pop up and they don't last long.
They just pop up and it's like, oh, let's go there for like first 2-3 months, and then everybody forgets that you were there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how much of the opposite, how much sugar are they putting in those vegan dishes to make them seem? Because that's a lot of times the problem.
The worst part about vegan is the fake vegan. So if you're going to have a hot dog, have a real grass-fed beef organic hot dog.
Yeah.
and it's not going to be every day. It's going to be now and then, but have a real hot dog.
They've been proven worse for you. A Beyond Burger versus a 90-37 burger that was grass-fed and organic. It has been proven by so many people. Yet so people are saying, but now all of a sudden, because it's nicer to the animals and the environment too, so you got to bring that in. And I understand the sentiment behind it completely. But again, you're falling victim to a fad. Just admit it. Just
cooking from scratch, you're going to see a huge difference. You're going to see, like, if it just tone down your restaurant experience. And today it's Uber Eats, and it's like people don't even go to a restaurant anymore.
When you go to the Cheesecake Factory and there's 400 items on the menu, something's wrong. A good restaurant in Italy has 6 things on the menu, 7 things on the menu. That's it. If you ask them to change something, they might slap you in the face while you're there. Like, yeah, sure, I'm going to change that.
It takes 5 minutes to read the menu.
Yeah. Well, look, Chef, we've covered a lot. Let's close out. Talk about the Personal Chef Company. Talk about when people should call you, what kind of events you do, meal planning you do, and then talk about the future.
All I'm doing really is cooking for families. So the program everything is on my website, holisticchefsofamerica.com. And I'm basically just cooking for families and single individual clients, whether they have serious health issues like stage 4 cancer or anything else, or I have a family that just wants everything organic and cooked from scratch. And what am I doing? I'm making quiches. I'm making pizzas. I'm making
things that can just pop in the oven, so it's convenient also.
Yes, absolutely. Right. Well, it's I have a 10-page food questionnaire, so I make a fresh menu every week. They're getting a large soup. They're getting a large salad with fresh dressing, and they're getting 3 to 5 different complete meals. So they're getting a ton of food, either cooked once or twice per week, and everything is delivered. So all they got to do is warm it up. So that's basically what I do.
Yeah, that's awesome. So give us an example. So a family, they got a young kid with some kind of rare disease, something like that. That's when they would call you and say, hey, because you got to plan, adjusting a cuisine for a kid makes it hard on the parents too, because then they got to change what they eat, and then they're sacrificing themselves also. So is that an example of when it would be helpful?
I think the biggest problem is all of these fads, and people just overcomplicate things. If a doctor tells you because of certain health issues, we follow those. But it's like the parents themselves don't really know which way to go. So it's like, let's read 10 books on this. Like
the people selling the books want to make money also. I mean,
that's right.
Or someone else tells them about their experience, and then the bad or misinformation gets passed from one person to another.
Yes. I think that it's just cooking from scratch, starting baby steps if you really don't cook a lot, starting small, buying everything organic. It's really not that expensive nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, what's your excuse for not buying organic bananas? They're 10 cents more per pound.
So if you're going to start, go to your local farmer's market on the weekend, try it for one dish, see how it goes. Just start there.
Be careful, though. The farmer's market can be intimidating, especially on a weekend. If you walk into the farmer's market at the wrong time, you're going to get elbowed in the face when you're sitting in line. I'm just saying, there's a lot of people shopping there for a reason, especially now.
Absolutely.
I think it's a great example. I would say, use thighs, not breasts for chicken. Thighs have the bone in. There's so much tastier. There's so much more there, and it's cheaper. Those are little things. There's so many little things that you can do to get started. Just don't be afraid. Just try it. And if you can't do it, call Chef, because he's got something magic going on.
Let us know about your website. How do people find you?
It's www.holisticchefsofamerica.com. Next year, we're actually opening a restaurant, so it's going to be everything is going to be organic. So I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel by, like I said, making a quinoa kale burrito. Right,
back to basics.
Organic pizza. Well, why can't we do organic pizza?
We're gonna have to come check out the restaurant and do a follow-up episode about that process.
Pizza, pasta, salads,
maybe
and kid foods.
On-site episode.
On-site tasting.
Chef Boyan, thanks so much for joining us. You've been listening to the Marketing Madmen on Extra 106.3. We'll be back next week.